to just explain what it means. But our topic is, what would you do, or how would you take your partner back if they left you for someone else, someone maybe younger, and then when they're on their deathbed, a few years down the line, they come back and they say no, they want to come back home. Would you take them back? That is the question. Because I think with married couples, I think over the years, I'm not sure about the suburbs because most of the time asazani neighbors. But I know that there's been families whereby maybe, let's say it's a businessman on a mali, and then they decide, you know what, I want to be with someone younger. And then I'm gay because yazazi ukubana onemali, they're gonna take care of this young one, and because now the finances, are still good, and the lifestyle that they want to provide for this person, everything is there, agasopoli and so forth, and out of the blue, life takes a turn. They are not well, and someone decides, maybe them directly, or they send someone from your family or from their family, and but decide, what, let's approach this person and tell them that so and so is not well and ufuna ukubuyela ekhaya, like, where were they? Maybe bona, the very people that have been requested to deliver the message that, where were they when stress upper, you were left in limbo, and nisokola mhlambi, you had young children. What would you do? Would you basically would you take them back? Would you have any conditions for them to come back? Like, what would you do? Because I know that there are people that have gone through that. We've experienced it back in our younger years when abantu abadala, umuntu uthi no, uhlala nosisibani kwenye area within the township, and as young children, we never kind of thought much further or deeper about the situation, how dire it is for the person that has been left behind, so to speak. But as you get older and then you understand the dynamics of relationships, what they're supposed to be, and so forth, you kind of fathom that, no, man, that particular person, or she, whether the husband was left behind or the wife was left behind, they were done dirty, basically. It was quite an unfair decision, or it was an unfair treatment, by the person that decided to just up and go. Some did support their children, some didn't. Umntu ahambe ke no-sisters kanye no-brothers wanomazwe ayophila obabomi, and they don't really, what's the word? They don't really care who they leave behind and what they are going through at the end of the day. So ibanzima ibenjalo, for the people that are left behind. So I don't know what your take is, but Ekukhuleni, we have witnessed such things. And I remember a friend of mine was narrating a story of their neighbor who was a family friend. And he was telling me that, oh, no, Dad, we used to admire him because he had, like everything, the businesses, the money, the so-called perfect family. the wife was like the model wife for their mothers and other women within, that particular area and the town, in its entirety. And then this guy meets a younger lady and he decides, you know what? Yeah, let me go. And then Tata Wahamba left the wife and the kids behind. And then the wife had to basically make other means to get income. And most when people they do things as a bukwayo and because they've got money, or they think some people they don't really have that wealth or those, finances that will make them do things that, people with money do. So, word spread that no, this guy, uyashiwa yedwa, and the so-called young wife, uyahamba amenzele ukutya, and that food basically pie mshane pie nendiyosela qha, and then ahambe and aye is it a revival? Xana when you have a church conference and then it's over the weekend, and then you leave on a Thursday or a Friday, then we'll be late on Sunday after church service. Yeah, those conferences. So that was her excuse to basically leave the house. And then the guy, wakula, when they're at some stage, they do get, sick. So umuntu omdala gets sick and bonakala imeko that it's not getting any better. And this woman basically has started another life, but usanje kuba ke ehlala kule ndlu with this so-called man of hers. And his health deteriorated. And then next thing, ufanele abantwana uba mna ndifuna ukubuya in I want my wife to take care of me because I couldn't be upper. It's like, and basically the kids were like, so why are you consulting with us when you were the very person that just told our mother that when we are ampa, don't Felicia, what must, However, because they were still married and there was never a divorce, most back in the old days, people would just leave their marital homes, another life with someone else in jail. And it was kind of, I'd say a norm to a certain extent because, like, boxers will buy, oh, ubani, utata ubani, unenkazana yakhe ehlala, whatever area, and those things were known. And so the wife decided, okay, it is what it is, makabuye, akho ngxaki. And when someone is on their deathbed, like they have, I don't know, I think Robin Stewart with his song, Sorry for Whatever, that song, is like an understatement to the apologies that that old man, was, telling his estranged wife, after the years of not being able to, of basically abandoning them, So yeah, and the story goes, the man dies, was given a decent send off in a steamer, and obviously as children, that at some point you need to forgive because you can see this person that also later is going to die in any event, So ultimately, that was the end of chapter 1 for the man, and yeah. But there's so many scars that this man created because some children, they get scarred because they do not have a model picture of what a marriage or a relationship should be. And that kind of sets the path of them, the behavior yabo dictating, how they should act toward their spouse or partner in a relationship. Because I think as abantu abadala, sometimes we don't fathom the damage that our actions have on our children at the end of the day. We just act on our own selfish needs and thoughts and not think about what this will do, to to the children or to the people that we say we love at the end of the day. Because sometimes you meet someone, then you decide, you know what, let me, where I'm at now is not as fulfilling where as this thing that I've just started with Romdu. And I think it still goes back to what I had alluded on last week, where I said there's this misconception of what 80-20 is. Someone will have an 80% at home and then they meet the 20% outside. And some people, they take the 20% as the one that they're already with, and then the 80% is the one that they just met. And meanwhile, it's just the 20%. Sometimes we do have a misconception of what that 80-20 symbolizes, or what the significance of that 80-20. So yes, to our listeners out there, would you take your partner back, or your husband back, or your wife back, girlfriend, boyfriend, if they left you for a younger person, and then when they are in their deathbed, they decide, no, I want my original person to take care of me, the one that I left in limbo, that I left destitute, would you take them back? And I'll give you my response when we come back after this beautiful